And it is that time of the week. Look who's over there. Yes, it's Martin. You see on our line, we've got tea, trains, and teasers. Which one do you want to be today?
I'll be a teaser. I'll tease
If you're going
people
to be the
all
teaser, then
show.
I got to get my teacup then because we got Chillie. Chillie is on a train. He is going up the coast from Sacramento to Seattle, and he's been on different switchbacks, and sometimes he's here with us, and then now we've lost him again. So he will be back in just a minute, but this is Sunday. This is Mother's Day in the United States. This is not your Mother's Day, right?
No, our Mother's Day is in March usually. Yours is a little
Okay.
bit later, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the second Sunday in March. May. Today is May. It's also it's also the opening this weekend in Minnesota. The second Saturday is always the opening of fishing. So literally every fisherman's wife in Minnesota spends Mother's Day alone because daddy's out fishing for the first time since last
Wow,
year.
that's
So
not good. That's not
no,
nice. Not nice.
it's a funny scheduling thing that we do here. I'm just seeing if Chillie is nope, that was not Chillie that dinged in on me here. Um, so anyway, we got Martin over in England. God save the Queen. By the way, I understand Her Majesty has withdrawn from all summer parties, events, and social gatherings.
It's
And
something I've heard the rumours of, so I
yeah,
don't know. She
yeah.
must be. It's a bit worrying, a little bit worrying, but she
Well,
is getting on a little bit now.
but
So
this is her 70th year of reigning as the Queen of England, right? That's the big to do right now.
big celebration, and we
And
get an
yeah,
extra day off work.
what an overall, for me, well, I guess for you too, because you're younger than me, but for my life, there has never been anything but Queen Elizabeth.
Mm,
Presidents have come and gone. What do you call your parliament leaders there?
Prime
Margaret,
ministers,
prime ministers have come and gone. Popes have come and gone. But the
they
queen,
have.
but the queen has remained the queen. And I have always had great respect for her and the good side of her family. It must be terrible to have, all your personal family stuff in the media often before you find out about it.
It's
So
yeah, it's just, that's the social media side of things, isn't it? People know everything about you before you even know about it. So it's a bit scary. People live their lives on social media. What did we do before? Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I cannot understand. I don't know. Life must have been very boring. I have no recollection of it. There's a few Polaroid pictures, but other than that, nothing. So
I have got some albums somewhere. We were talking about albums, and we Stan looked at a picture of me and him on our very first cruise, and we went to, was it Rome? Yeah, we went to on Celebrity Century to Rome, 2008,
wow.
14 years ago. So
Yeah.
I said we've got to get the recreate them pictures and put them up at some point.
And isn't it
14
amazing?
years later.
If we use that as the marker, ships from then all the way back to the Titanic really didn't change much.
No.
All of the changes that have happened in the cruise industry, as far as the physical ships, have really been since your first cruise.
Yeah, well,
I
our
mean,
first cruise was Celebrity Century. That's showing
yeah,
how
yeah.
old that ship was.
But that
You
was
know,
that was an old style ship. It had a rounded bottom on it. It didn't have stabilizers. You ate. I'm sure they told you were going to eat at 7:30 tonight at table number 6.
yeah,
Everything was just literally no different from the Titanic. Well, except there was not classes of people. You were classed by how much money you had based on what
yeah,
room you bought, but there was no classes of people. But other than that, everything that we think of as standard cruising now, the big entertainment shows, the chance to eat as you want, upscale dining rooms. Was there an upscale dining room on your ship back then? Maybe
I,
one.
no, I don't think there may have been one. There may have been one. I think they were
Yeah.
just coming into that realm of starting to do the upselling of restaurants. In fact, did they?
Yeah, yeah. So at that point, you were still old cruising, if we want to put that, you
Mm,
know, BC, pre, it should be PC, pre cruising. And now, so everything that we do now, everything that we talk about as wonderful experiences on a cruise ship, really are in the time you've been cruising. The idea of a roller coaster on a cruise ship, or a go-kart track, or even this, there was probably a spa of some kind. Do you have a recollection? Was there any spa type?
Yeah, I think there was a very small little bit at the back of the ship. I think it was, or no, it was the front of the ship, and there's a little couple of rooms off the side, and that was about it. Now you go into the spas these days, and they're like on 2 floors and 30 rooms, and you know, a sauna that can have about 15 people, 20 people in it, and you know,
and then the people who work in the spa only work in the spa. Probably in the old days, you know, the bartender made a little extra money in the afternoon. And,
give massages.
Yeah, you know. Did you want some gin with that? You know, so yeah.
Well, what was your first cruise, John?
My first cruise was in 2014.
Okay, so you were after me then.
After you, Ronnie and I, just on a spur of the boot. We didn't know anything about travel agents and cruises, didn't know anything about different cruise lines or anything. I always knew that Carnival was a party boat. So, and it just worked out. At that time, you could fly from Fargo to Chicago to Miami and get on the cruise ship that day.
Wow.
And so although we did an overnight. We did an overnight at a hotel in Miami. My first time in Miami. Ronnie's too, of course, as a newly arrived American, but so we took American Airlines through Chicago down to Miami. Uber was kind of new and coming on, so we took an Uber to the hotel, stayed in a really nice hotel. I think it cost me $100, and I'm going, I've never paid $100 for a hotel before. No, I think that's the tip, isn't it? But anyway, And so then the next day it was raining cats and dogs. Called an Uber, and we got it. It was really cool. We got an Uber Ford pickup truck, and he had a tarp over the back where we put our luggage, and really a nice. I don't know about you, but in my long Uber drives, I have met some of the neatest people, just really neat people so that was just great. Got on the Carnival Conquest. Didn't know anything about ships. Didn't know what we should have. We did have a midship balcony, but it was completely by accident. And we had a wonderful time. Now that was still on Carnival. That was fixed seating. We had a 2-top, in the middle of other people, and at a fixed evening dinner time. But just had a wonderful time. It was interesting. We got to know the other tables around us somewhat. And one of the things we did, that was, as you still can, I think, on Carnival, but you could bring your own wine on, and they had a $10 corkage fee. They charged $10 to open and serve the wine. Well, just as a joke, I brought a bottle of $2 Chuck. Have we talked about $2 Chuck? The $2.
I'm sure we've mentioned $2 Chuck in
cheap wine, but it's not. I mean, it's very drinkable. We buy it 5 cases at a time because I use it in cooking all the time. But that was the fun thing, is I brought a bottle of $2 Chuck, and it's like, please, would you cork would you do the honors with us? And then we started. The guy says, I can't charge you $10 to serve a $2 bottle of wine. And so we just had a lot of fun. Then going back, we got another Uber, and it was a lady, and that was when Uber had a problem being in airports. And so the lady said, okay, now, will you do me a big favor? When we get to the airport, can we say goodbye like we're family, like we're husband and wife or something? So this Uber drives up to the door, the terminal where we're getting off for American Airlines. And, we get out, and Ronnie gets the luggage out, and I go, because all these guys are watching, because, Uber's the enemy at that particular time. Uber was the enemy of limousines, shuttle buses, cabs, anything. So Maria, I don't know how we just did a complete scene out of some movie somewhere, like The Goodbye Girls or something. She gives me this big hug, and I said, it's only a few days and I'll see you again. And I mean, we just completely did it up. And so she wasn't marked down as being a car that was coming through and dropping passengers without a license,
God, jeez.
It was really funny. And here comes Chillie. Let's see if we can Let's see if we can. There, we got him into the picture. Hello, sir.
Oh, he's on the rail. He's on the train. He's on the trains.
I've been in a blizzard for a couple hours up in the mountains of Oregon, and then all of a sudden I got no Wi-Fi signal, and then I came back for a couple seconds, then it went again. So I'm subject to go out again, although we are coming into a town now, Oak Ridge, Oregon, wherever the hell that is.
Okay.
So,
and their sister city is Oak Ridge, Tennessee. I don't know if you know that, but
I don't know if they're
I'm making it up as I'm going along.
Cousins or what?
Oh, the Cruise Amigos, we make it up as we go along.
Yeah. That's what this is. Sunday fun time, and we may lose Chillie at any time. So we were just having some reminiscing fun, Chillie, but we want to just get the whole story here. You're like 3 days on a train now, right?
Yep. And I go until 7:40 tonight if we're on time. That's a whole nother story. Didn't they used to have watches that the train conductors used to carry, those big round watches? They pull them out off the chain and they look and see what time it was so they stay on time. They quit doing that.
Why?
They got no watches now.
Oh, Martin, one of the reasons is because the passenger trains in America are secondary to freight trains, have priority on all the lines except for like New York to Miami, where Amtrak owns its own track. Everywhere else, the freight trains have priority, and they side an Amtrak train if you're right on time, so that the timing is working and they've got you using your 20 miles of track when you're supposed to. It's pretty good. But if anything happens that gets you late or something, all of a sudden you're on the side while the freight trains go rumbling through all the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yesterday,
so how late are you?
2.5 hours.
Right. And this train, is this the same train you've been on from the very beginning, 3 days?
No. I was on one from Lynchburg to Washington, D.C.
Okay.
And then I got on the D.C. to Chicago. Then I got on the Chicago to Sacramento. That was the 48-hour one.
Wow.
And then I was in Sacramento 7 hours or something. And then we left there about midnight their time last night. And I go until 7:40. Yesterday was
we're losing Chillie.
Hey, buddy, we're losing you again. We're losing you again. So when you get signal, why come on back and wave your hand or something so we know that you're live, because you're frozen now. If you can hear us, it might be if you turn off your camera and we just hear you, that might work. So no, I think we've lost him at the moment.
That's an epic journey, that though, isn't it?
And it's been both good and bad. He called me a couple of times late at night and basically said, if I had a gun, I'd end this trip right now. Mostly because he's on the trains from Chicago West are 2-layer trains.
Yeah.
But the bathrooms are downstairs. And the best seating is, of course, upstairs, because you're 20 feet in the air and you've got a panoramic view. Well, finally, they got him a seat downstairs, so he's just 10 feet away from the bathroom, which is working good for him. But then, if you want to go to the dining car, the observation car, the anything car, you got to go up the steps, through the train, and then like the snack shop is, below on a different car. And it's just overwhelming for him. It's just too much physical work. I think let's try him again now. Are you back?
Well, who knows?
Yes. I was just explaining about your downstairs, upstairs travel, downstairs to the bathrooms and everything.
Yeah. I have to be on the same level with the restroom. I had one train that was upstairs, which you got, it's more scenic. You got better views. But going up and down the stairs every time you had to go pee, that'd like to kill me. So I got to be on the level. Once I've got that across to these folks, then that's gone okay. So now, I just have 10 feet to walk to the
Right.
restroom. So that's okay. But because of the level I'm on, I can't go to the dining car, to the snack car. So I have to depend on other people to do that kind of crap for me, whether it's the conductor or other guests. Passengers on the trains that have been a little fuller, there are more people around me. The passengers have jumped in and said, "Oh, I'll get that for you." Or they've done the running. I made one trip to the snack car, and that was awful because I had to go up the stairs, walk all the way through one car, halfway through another car, then down the stairs to the snack car,
And then do all the way back again.
and
Well,
same thing going back.
It's really easier, Chillie, if you just go out the door and then just hang on to that rail and slide along the outside. Yeah.
But that's what, don't you have big hooks? You get out the window and you sling it around and you throw the hook.
No. They've got a little handrail and a little foot rail all the way along. You can just
so you just get it on fingertips and toenails.
That's all you need.
Except, I still have chemo toenails. They don't catch on anything except things that rip.
Could be bad. Could be tough. Yeah.
You'd be better off every time he stops at a station is running out, running down the car, and then waiting for the next station, running back again.
Yeah.
That might work.
So all in all, Chillie,
yeah,
this great big adventure. You're nearly you're coming to the end now, are you? Nearly at the end of it.
Well, no, I'm halfway through it. I've got to do all this going home too.
Oh no, I mean we're getting to your destination before the cruise.
Yes. Yeah. He's just about to Seattle. He'll overnight, gets on the ship tomorrow, and has his week-long Alaska journey that we should hear about. I hope that he tells us all about. But then he's going to go coming home. He's coming through on my train. He's on the north.
Are you guys meeting up?
Well, and I'm just going to pimp him into getting my ticket, and I'll go all the way from Seattle to Chicago with him if he wants me to do that. Then he would have a person to push him up the stairs. I got a cattle prod with me. I think I can get him moving the steps a little faster with the cattle prod.
Poke me in the ass. Boom, boom.
I got a one-handed.
I got a one-handed one though.
You're just going to be a runner. You'll be running, getting tea and coffee.
My brother-in-law asked me the same question when I talked to them this morning. I called to wish my sister Happy Mother's Day. And by the way, all you ladies out there, Happy Mother's Day. I will say that while I'm on the air. I would still rate the train trip way above flying on
it. Even though it's been a lot harder. We lost him again.
But yes, the thing is that, he's got a seat. He can't reach forward to the next seat. He's got this whole space, and on all but one part of the leg, he has the two seats to himself. Matter of fact, on the train he's on now, this 24-hour segment, down in the lower part of this car, there's only he and another lady. There's only the two of them.
Wow.
And so, in that respect, it's just, it's wonderful. The problem with trains in America, the only problem is that the distances are so far. You can train all over, the British Isles, and you're, a couple hours, 3 hours maybe. What is it up to Scotland from you?
Probably about 3-4 hours, depending which part of Scotland. But I'm about to do a journey in a few weeks down to Southampton to pick up the MSC Virtuosa. But yeah, I'm just looking at my ticket, and it's like I've got 2 hours down into London, then it's a 10-minute journey across London, and then another hour and 20 minutes down to Southampton. So in 4 hours, in all, 4 hours 10, I'm at the other end of the country.
And see, for Chillie, it'll be 4 days. And one thing this is on Amtrak. He went from his hometown area to Washington, D.C. That was like a few hours. Then Washington to Chicago. Chicago is the center hub for all the United States. no problem. But then from Chicago, if he would have waited 2 extra hours, he'd have got on the Empire Builder, and he would have already been there yesterday. The Empire Builder is direct Chicago to Seattle, and instead they routed him from Chicago to California and then another 24 hours north to Seattle.
Why did he do that then?
And well, they told him because the one segment would be a business class seat. But their business class seat on an Amtrak, I'm telling you, it's not the difference from economy to business on an airplane. It's the seats are a little spread out a little bit farther, but he could have wiped out a whole day. And so I told him, when you get to Chicago, I know the Empire Builder, the train that goes through me, is only half full. So it's not about seating. Get on the Empire Builder. Matter of fact, I told him, if you get on the Empire Builder, I'll even get on in Grand Forks and go west with you, But they just kind of talked him out of it there in Chicago. And it was like, it would have been 36 hours less time. He'd have been there now. And so now, this is the thing. And this is, of course, why we keep talking about travel agents. In that respect, I was kind of playing the role of travel agent. And it's like, because I train a lot. I train mostly from here to the East Coast. But, I got this down. And it's like, Chillie, tell them you want, if it's like, we'd have to refund you money. I don't care about the refund. Get on the Empire Builder, point A to point B, not point A to point B to point C in 24 extra hours. And it didn't work out. And now I'm thinking, let's not tell him. But I'm thinking that I'm going to take the train all the way into Seattle from my place and then get on the train with him and at least come back this far. That's 2 days. Then he'll have like 15 hours into Chicago. And then, believe it or not, if the United States is this big, Chicago's not in the middle. It's way closer to New York than it is to LA. It's like, it's a third of the way, really. So once we get him past me, then he's kind of on his way home. But from here out to Seattle, it's 48 hours of prairie, buffalo, Big Sky, Montana. I mean, it's just a long, long ride. And so
it's a long time now. It really is.
Yeah. So I think that the best that I can do for him is I'm going to, if I can figure it out now, I'll get the train out there the day before, spend the night, then get on the train this way with him. And I can, then we can, I don't care if we're downstairs, but we can, I can run for snacks. I can run for alcohol. I can, just run for everything and kind of be his pivot guy, his front guy.
Yeah, I know you mean. It's go for this.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, I'm happy to do it. At this point in my life, I'm much more able and happy to run that kind of. But it is interesting that, to me, the bottom line comment that he said, even with all this kind of not so good stuff, he still likes that better than the 4-hour plane ride. And I find that really interesting, because I don't know, just for me, I'd rather just sit here on an airplane for 4 hours than to go through what he's going through for 4 days.
Yeah, but I don't know whether I'd like to do something like that. I mean, maybe if it was like the Rocky Mountaineer or something like that, which is more touristy, and he was getting from different places and stopping and having a couple of days in a place.
But it's all about being abled. I mean, even on the trains that he's on, if you're abled, you can go up to the Vista car and it's all glass. You can go down to the snack bar and there's people to talk to. And in the old days, when there was smoking on the train, that was my running gag. Is you meet the coolest people in the smoking car. You really did, because they were up all night. They would be, if it was 2:30 in the morning, if you were just awake because you were bouncing on the train or whatever, you go down to the smoking car. I'm telling you, there would be 5 guys and 2 girls, and you could start a conversation, and they had the best stories. And there's something social about smokers that we have. I understand smoking is bad for you. I've never done it. I've lost people directly to cigarettes. It's terrible. But there is a certain wonderfulness. Smokers are a different breed of people that are really fun to hang out with and to
social. There's very
Yeah.
social animals when you stood there having a cigarette. I mean, obviously I've quit them now, or whatever month we're in now, since January. But, you know, it's like we go out and we'll have a cigarette and you're like, hey, you're right, you know, and you'll have a conversation and, you know, you'll find out about people. Yeah, they're very social people smokers.
It's just more, it was just more fun. And that was always, there was one car where the lower level was the smoking, because they at first, for 20 years, they eliminated smoking except in the designated smoking car basement. And you'd go down there and you couldn't see across the frickin' train. I mean, it was just, you know, has anybody thought of, why don't they cut a hole in the window as like a vacuum, you know, and suck the air out? But it was worth it. I mean, and if I die of lung cancer because I inhaled too much on a train, I would consider it worth it, because I had so much fun being down there and just, you know, sharing stories and riding the rails, you know, humming Willie Nelson's Riding on the City of New Orleans. Although I've never been on the City of New Orleans. The City of New Orleans goes Chicago to New Orleans. It's a north-south train that goes, right. And I've never run that run. I've always wanted to do it, but I think it would be a little bit too stereotypical. You know, it's like, God, I mean, I'd have to have a boombox with me that was playing the song the whole way, you know? I mean, so.
God. Well, our trains aren't as exciting as that. I mean, you know. I can remember trains years ago with the old slamming doors, and you had the two seats either side, and, you know, the conductor would come along the train all the way along the platform, slamming the door shut, and things like that, you know. Now it's all automatic, and, you know, I mean, I'm a bit like Chillie. I mean, we drive to Southampton, which is not our nearest port. We've got Liverpool, but not a lot goes out from Liverpool, because there's a big argument between Liverpool and Southampton, because they got funding from the European Union for their terminal, blah, 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 and things like that. But when we go to Southampton, it's a 4.5 hour drive. Now, it's 4 hours 20, 4.5 hours on the train. So if you're on a cruise, and if it's a couple of days like some of the ones I go on, and you've had a few drinks on the last night, you don't really want to drive 4.5, 5 hours.
Oh, I would take the train every time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, but it's more expensive. I mean, I've just booked a ticket for the end of the month, the 27th to the 30th. I'm on Virtuosa for our work conference, and it's £110 return. So to do the train.
Okay, and that's about $150.
So, I mean, I don't know, why would your trains compare over there? I mean, we were talking, it's probably, 250 miles?
Oh, 250 miles is, for me, I was talking about going halfway to Seattle, which is 1,000 miles, and out was $64 each way. So $100 round trip for you, 100 pounds round trip for 1,000 miles. So it's subsidized by the government heavily. And that's a big contention in the United States. Why are we giving $6 billion to a train system that runs, before COVID, that runs a third full? You know, and
jeez.
So every time you buy a ticket on Amtrak, remember that for every $100 you spend, your friendly government's kicking in $200 or $300 more.
Wow.
So jeez. It's kind of neat. I mean, to me, it's like, do it, because there's been threats all the time, you know, that it's going to come to an end, that they're just not going to run. They'll run trains up and down the East Coast. They'll run trains up and down the West Coast, but they're not going to go 4,000 miles in between, because there's just not enough. And they already, now with COVID, up to COVID, they had a dining car that actually had, live made, real chefs cooking every meal for you, food. And that was part of the joy, was being in the dining. When you're coming up from Chicago, the dining time is always going across Wisconsin, kind of a little bit lakey, some lakes, a lot of trees, not the open farmland that we have. And a couple of times I did it, there had been a rainstorm and there was a rainbow. And, you know, it really was a positive, fun experience to be sitting there, and always, you know, a 4-course meal with service, great service and wine and experience. And now that's all gone. The first class passengers, the ones that have bought the rooms, get food, but it's completely microwave heated and delivered to their room. There's no gathering space. There's no because of COVID. You get on the train, you get in your car, you stay in your car, unless you're going out to the bathroom. You just are stuck in your little. And if you have a roomette or a room, you're just in your little space, and it, COVID. I try not to use swear words, but COVID be damned. I mean, COVID really screwed up so many kinds of things.
You're right. It has, and it's going to take a lot of time to get things back, and some things will never come back.
They'll never that's the thing. Amtrak's never going to put chefs and servers and people in the dining car again. This is the new normal, and it's never going to go back. And that sucks because that was an experience that, just was a wonderful time. And it was fun, and there was an excitement, and the dining car was always full. And I mean, and they said you didn't, if you went there as one or two, you got sat with, it was all fours. So, I mean, you got, just like on a cruise ship, you got sat with people. Oh, where are you from? What do you do? I met, cool people, because it's like, why are you on the train rather than flying? Everybody's got the train story, or the airplane story. And either they're train enthusiasts, or something happened on an airplane, or they're afraid of flying, whatever. But, everybody had the Chillie, why are you 4 days on a train when you can be there in 4 hours on an airplane? Everybody's got a story, and that's all gone. It's all gone. People don't even, I would meet people on the last trip. I went from New York to here, 2 trains, New York to Chicago up to here. And even if you met people in the hallway, it was kind of like, hi, how are you? Yeah, have a good day. Bye. Because you just didn't know it. Are they the carrier? Are they the ones that are going to give you the disease?
Yeah. Not good is it? So, but we're just trying to get our head round of all these rules now in different places and things, because it's like there isn't one rule all over the world anymore, is there? Every country's, or most countries, got different rules, and it's like, it's really weird. It's like, I don't know about where you are in the minute, but in Italy, if you're flying from the UK to Italy on a plane, you have to wear a mask, but not just any mask. It has to be an FPP2 mask.
N95, yep. Mm-hmm.
And then we're got to do that in the airport and things. And then when we set sail, we don't have to wear a mask. Go around Greece, we don't have to wear a mask. But then when we come back into Rome, we've got to wear a mask again. It's like, why? It's all Europe. But then, other places, other countries all around Europe are fine. None of this applies, except I think it's Austria, Germany, France, and Italy are the only ones that are doing it. Okay. It's really weird, and it's like, it's so confusing. So what you have to do, but we don't need any papers now. We don't need to show any information about to get around and things. So
they trust you that you're looking out for yourself, and
and even if you're not vaccinated, you can still travel. There's certain little things that you have to do. But for us, we're triple vaccinated now. We've had our triple, our booster. So,
and I'm going to have number 4 pretty soon. So
I think that's coming. Yeah, I think I will get a call for that very
soon.
Well,
I don't know if you know, but like 5 weeks after your shot, it's working the most effective. That's when it's the peak of its kicking in and working. So I'm going to wait. I'm going to time it so that when I'm on my next big trip, that'll be the 5-week peak, rather than taking it now and being down the other side of the effectiveness.
Good idea. Very good idea.
Because I feel safe around here.
Well, yeah, I'm not, do you know what? I'm not worried. I'm apprehensive, shall we say. I've not flown for nearly 2.5 years, John. It's a long time. And I'm sat here going, what do I do? I'm a travel agent, and I'm going, what do I do?
See, we flew, for my last cruise, we flew Fargo to Chicago, and then business class on Lufthansa to Frankfurt. And he's back. So I'll just finish this story quick, Chillie, and then we'll get back to you. But anyway, flying business class in Lufthansa on a 747, it's like, that's my dream airplane. And I wanted to experience Lufthansa business class. Well, they were still on the old rules. And like when they brought dinner, They brought you one plate at a distance, put it down in front of you, and that was it. There was no service. They were all masked up and not too happy. I mean, it was not, so I didn't get I paid 170,000 air miles for the two of us to fly that jump, and I did not get the Lufthansa experience that I wanted. So, and there we're seeing out Chillie's window. There, the train's going rumbling through. Look at that. Because of yeah,
I'm trying to see the scenery. Oh, there's a lake. There's a lake. That's nice. I like. So trains and teasers.
Well, that was just my joke. English trains for Chillie, and I'm the crazy guy. So trains and teasers. But Chillie's figuring something out here now.
My GPS. Oh no, there it came back on. It is Lookout Point Lake. I had to pull the GPS up to see where the hell I am.
Lookout Point Lake. Okay.
Where's that? Let me Google that one. Where are we?
It's in Oregon. I think I'm still in Oregon.
Lookout Point Lake.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely in Oregon.
The reservoir in Oregon.
I'm just bringing
a large reservoir on the Middle Fork, Willamette River in Lane County, Oregon.
Yeah. I'm trying to see how far you are from Seattle. Amtrak, Seattle. Kings Crossing is where you're
seasonal water skiing, sailing, swimming. You can find trout in there.
Oh well, no, it took me to Lookout Point Lake over in the middle of the country, so I'm in the wrong side place here. Let me find the right Point Lake here. Let's see if this.
There's Amazon again. We've got
Amazon here we go.
Right in the center.
Yeah, you've got by car. You are yet 4 hours and 40 minutes out of your King Street station. By car.
How long?
By car, you're 4 hours and 40 minutes away from your destination. Is that your stomach? Is that his stomach growling, or what are we hearing there?
Yeah, my stomach growling because I'm so hungry. No, it's Amazon have just been to deliver something. You know what it's like when you're going on a cruise. You need this.
What are you cooking today, Martin?
We've had an early tea today. It was a traditional roast beef with Yorkshire pudding, and vegetables and things. But you know what it's like when you're about to go on holiday.
I don't know if you guys can hear me or not, but I just got a message flashed on my computer that said you're having an unstable internet connection. No.
Really? We never noticed, Chillie.
Yeah.
Thank the computer for telling us that.
Let me see if I can get the question answered from an hour and 65 minutes ago. I would rate the train second. The easiest time I had getting to a cruise ship recently is driving. I did much better that. I could control how much pain I put myself through. I had a lot more flexibility in stopping and so that I did best with driving. Trains definitely next, despite all the issues I have with Amtrak on accessibility. Flying is still going to be absolutely the last thing I consider doing anywhere again. That's just me. I am much more suitable today because I had some sleep. Yesterday I was pushing probably 48 hours or maybe a little longer with no sleep. And I was at my limit as far as exhaustion goes. But I laid down on a couch last night in the station, and I got a couple good hours laying down of sleep. And then when I got on the train at midnight their time, I was able to sleep pretty comfortably on the train. So whether I've come up with the right positions for my body, but I had a good night's sleep last night. And I've had several times today where I said, ooh, I might just have to take a nap, which, so my attitude's a whole totally different today after getting some sleep. But yeah, I'd still like to, the challenge would be working with Amtrak to try to correct some of these issues. I think they're fixable. I mean, obviously, it's just like the cruise ships. There's a lot of redesigning that needs to be done if they ever want it to be truly accessible. But I think there's some things that could be fixable on this without it costing a ton of money. One is to make this floor of this train somehow accessible to the next car on this level.
That can't happen because
I know you got issues with the wheels.
The trucks are in front of you. It just can't have the trucks, meaning the sets of wheels are in front and behind you at your level.
What about a ramp over and down?
Because you're going to come too close to the upstairs. There's not enough room for, the trucks are up like 4 feet. The rails are the wheels are 3 feet 6 inches, and then there's another foot above those, and you see that would only leave about 2.5 feet before your next the ceiling / floor of the upper level. So that of all the things that might happen, that's never going to happen. I'm sorry. The thing that they need to do is make an accessible, in my opinion, make an accessible car where you are so that everybody's got their own seat and a little area. Maybe if they've got a scooter, it can sit right by you. And in that zone is a nice bathroom and the availability to have service, whether it's bringing you food, drinks, your meals, whatever, so that you can just 2 steps or the ramp onto your level and the ramp off, and everything can happen in your world.
Yeah.
That's
over here. We have an at-sea service, so you can order on an app, and they will bring the food to you, or they'll bring your coffee to you, or your juice, or whatever you've ordered. They'll bring it direct to your seat. So maybe that's what they need over there. Maybe.
See, if you're in what they call first class, that means you've got a roomette or a room. Meals are included, and then there's one person per car that is like your steward, and that meals are included. Tips are graciously appreciated, but that's what happens. But on Chillie's thing, it would have been a couple of $1,000s more to get the roomettes out and back. I mean, it's expensive, and
this is just in standard. They'll deliver it to the seat in standard and things.
It's really nice.
So
really
good idea. Maybe that's what they need for the accessible. There's an app that you can use to get it delivered to your table and make it a lot easier then, wouldn't it?
Yeah, no, but that would be my envisioning, and I believe that if they designed a car that would do that, Chillie, I believe it would just be full all the time. I just think it would be. If there was like 15 seats down there in your lower level, I just think that they would be full with folks like you all the time. I think it would be incredibly successable.
No, I was just thinking, what does this remind me of? We lost him again. It's that 1987
I turned the
film.
camera off.
All right,
I turned the camera off because I couldn't hear you guys. It was breaking up so bad, so I tried turning the camera off, and so now I can hear again. Go ahead, Martin.
No, I was going to say it's planes, trains, and automobiles. You've done all 3, Chillie. So madness, absolute madness that you've done it. And what are we on? What cruise number are we on now? Is it 7, 8,
9?
I think we lost. Oh, look.
Number 9. He had to calculate there, Chillie, and it's a good thing he only got to 9, or we'd had to have a delay. You'd hear the zipper going as he has to count past 10. You know. So,
Jeez, I know. Anyway, John, well, let's have a look. Are you in control of the show today, or is it Chillie?
yes, I kind of am, and we've got lots of people in the chat room, and it's we're already 45 in here. Bubba Bergstein, of course, is just saying hi to Martin and I because we started the show. Travels with Lizzie Lou, just there, and always a thing. Nikki says, "Hola, amigos," and then Katie
Hola.
said, "Hello, amigos," and it's Bubba, isn't it? Bubba Berg.
It's
Is
Bubba
that
Bergs, isn't it?
That's Bonnie.
Bonnie? That's Bonnie as opposed to Bubba. Okay, Bonnie says hi, y'all. And then she said, "Hi, Lizzie. Do you have fun on the Morella cruise?" I know Emma
Yeah,
did.
she's on a 90s cruise, a music-themed cruise.
Wow, neat.
Yeah.
Neat.
With Emma Cruises and a lot of other people as well, a lot of other bloggers out there. So look like a lot of fun. So I'm sure we'll hear about that on Lizzie's Travels, her blog.
Yeah, and then Bonnie said, "My first cruise was on the SS Norway, which then was the SS France originally. Only set dining, early or late seating, or the buffet, right?" And that's how my first cruise was too, Bonnie. Nikki is, of course, hi, Chillie. Go ahead, Martin.
I was going to say the SS Norway. Wasn't that the start of Royal Caribbean?
I
One of
think
those.
so. That's my recollection. I didn't want to say because I wasn't sure, but yeah, we both think it. So yeah. Nikki says, "Hi, Chillie, our intrepid representative on the rails." Hey, and Nikki, when Chillie gets to a fixed place here, he's got big news because a friend of his has just been named the head of Chillie. The head
Avalon
of
Waterways.
Avalon
President
Waterways.
President of Avalon Waterways.
This is a big positive step for all people with disabilities because the river ships are probably behind the railroad as far as being disabled friendly, handicap friendly, and this person is committed to making Avalon Waterways ships more mobility challenge friendly. And this is it's not going to happen this month, this year, but boy, having her in the leadership position there is going to be a wonderful thing for all of us, even those that use walkers or a cane, because it's just going to be a great thing. So we're happy with that. Sharon says, "Hello." Bonnie said, "John, I almost had to cancel my Amtrak ride in Orlando because the train got stuck in South Carolina due to flood on the tracks." Yes. Amtrak trains are notorious for not necessarily being on time. She took another train, 6-hour ride to Orlando. Nice thing about the roomette, yes, on the East Coast roomettes, there's actually a toilet and a sink, and then the 2 chairs turn into a bed. But now they're remaking those cars, and as the new cars come out, the toilet is gone, but the sink is still there. So you have a sink that you can freshen up and brush your teeth and get everything going. The attendants, of course, will bring food to you. If you are in first class at Amtrak, the attendants will do that. And then the beautiful, I've showered on Amtrak trains many times as I used to do business down by Chicago, and I would take the train rather than the plane. I could get on the train in a roomette, single, and it was within $50 of the price of flying. So I was doing that a lot some years ago. Katie says, "Bonnie, my first cruise on the Norway." Sonny says, "Hi, Chillie and everyone." Emily, hello all. Of course, my ticket for Amtrak to DC says 50% full there and back. That's really good, Emily. Some of the mid-east bound trains are quite full, but the East Coast ones are good. The baseball game, I'm watching the players' gear pink for Mother's Day. Well, that's kind of presumptuous, isn't it, Martin? Pink for Mother's Day? I mean, we live in
wants to come out in pink.
Outfit, Bonnie says, "Have to say goodbye." Okay. She has some teeth problems.
Dropped out.
Nikki talks about, and we should talk about this. Katrina destroyed the Sunset Limited. The Sunset Limited went from Jackson right along the Gulf of Mexico over to New Orleans and then on to the west. And Nikki, are just now bringing it back online. What, 6 years later? Katrina was it in 10 or 15? I don't remember.
Katrina.
but a long time ago, and they're just now getting the Sunset Limited that goes from Jacksonville, Florida on the east side all the way to San Antonio, Texas. Emily bought train insurance. Yeah, train insurance is very inexpensive. I think we got Chillie back looking out the window. And Emily agreed with that COVID has changed everything. You bet. Katie says, sounds great. Yes, Katie was talking about that was a Norwegian ship. Norway was owned by Norwegian.
Norwegian, not Royal Caribbean. It was Norwegian Cruise Lines.
Yep.
So, but no. So, oh God, no. I mean, Katrina was 2005, apparently.
5. So it's been 17 years, and they are just now getting that piece of track back on 2005. It just, time goes so fast.
Wow, geez, 17 years to get it back online from Katrina.
And it was a popular route. I mean, anywhere in Florida, there's a couple of north-south trains. One that goes to like Tampa, one that goes down to Miami. You could hook that train north, then hook this train to the west all the way to San Antonio. That's where it matched up with the other westbound trains that come out of Chicago and kind of make a loop down to the south and continue on west. And 17, and that's, shame on our government. I just got to say, shame on our government. If you're going to make a commitment for rail, then make a commitment and let's do it and let's have trains. Let's not, we got to stop this dilly-dallying about it. Either we are making a commitment to having rail service or just dump it and get a bunch of Greyhound buses.
Jeez, I couldn't do a Greyhound bus across the country.
But have you seen the first class, or do they have in England now what they call first class buses? Have you seen that?
No.
Oh, that's a new thing that's becoming popular here between bigger cities is what's called a first class bus. And instead of 4 seats, it's 3 first class airplane seats across.
Right.
It's a real bathroom in the back, not that little cubby hole on a typical, 50 passenger bus. There's a coffee station and there's an attendant. So there's a driver and an attendant, and it holds about 36 people, and they're doing really well. The companies that are doing it's all little companies that are doing it.
First class bus.
A first class bus, yeah, Metro something, but they're just coming to America and they're really, really cool. They go, I know, from Minneapolis to Chicago. There's a route.
Let's have a look.
Let's see if we can find some of those.
First class bus. The Jet.
Yeah, here's the Jet. Here's the one called the Jet. It goes from Washington D.C. to New York City, and it's an awesome one. That's the Jet, and I think the one out of Minneapolis is called Metro something. And
I wonder how they are price wise.
Very competitive. They're running at a loss right now to gain exposure and passengers. Yeah. But that's a new thing that's coming because sadly, it's cheaper to buy a bunch of buses and put them on our highway than it is to put good rail service between the Mississippi River and the West Coast. It'd be better to have 4 buses. Four buses a day running than to, a train car costs millions and millions of dollars. And you got to have a bunch of them. Because at any given time, like the Empire Builder is leaving Seattle every 24 hours, but they're going east and west all the time. So there's about 7 trains that make up the Empire Builder at any given moment, because there's one leaving 24 hours and there's one 24 hours out that isn't to Chicago yet. And, so there's trains that are firing from Chicago and Seattle in opposite directions every 24 hours. So it takes like 7 trains to make that all kind of happen.
Well, that first class bus looks quite good. I mean, it's quite spacious, and you've got Wi-Fi and really fast Wi-Fi as well. And seats look nice. Little airline tables come across. It's like, ooh, I could go first class. Find that.
And you could. And the other thing is, of course, it's no big deal for them to make a detour and go or to jump to have them running east and west and north and south. So you can, because there's only 3 routes across the United States. There's the north route. That's the Empire Builder that I'm on. There's the, what were you on? What was it, name of your trip, Chillie? The train?
Zephyr, California Zephyr.
The Zephyr. And then there's the one that goes down through the desert. There's 3 paths. America's a big country, and north to south, there's only 3 routes that the trains go on. terrible.
Wow.
But a bus, of course, could go anywhere that there's, even if they just were on the interstates, there's many, many more paths, both east and west and north and south. So,
Jeez. So, but no. So
another
Chillie,
thing
what
that
should we-
Amtrak needs to do, Amtrak needs to come up with a Wi-Fi package,
yeah.
even if you have to pay for it. This is
Yeah.
there is none at all, even though it shows
Wow.
up on your list, but there's nothing on the train to bring a Wi-Fi signal in. So that's one of the things that they definitely need to correct, and they need to go on and spend the money and do it satellite Wi-Fi as opposed to Wi-Fi where we're running out of signal.
Well, of course, but they could do a hybrid. They could do, they could do ground where they can and then pick up the satellite when they can't.
Yeah.
That can be just automatic now. But yes, you're totally right. But again, Amtrak in the United States is subsidized by the United States government, and most of the congressmen first of all, a lot of congressmen are saying, why should we pay money on it? It doesn't go through my state. It doesn't even go through many, many states. But the states it does go through on, it's one train eastbound and one train westbound each day. And it's, and to say this very delicately, the people that ride trains are not influential voters.
Yeah.
Figure out the hidden meaning of what I'm saying there. But there's a few average people like myself, Chillie now, riding on the train. But the typical people that ride the east-west trains in the United States are just not anybody that the politicians go after, because there's no money, no influence. And like it or not, Washington runs on cash. Yeah, but that's, but Visage, is that what it is? When you go gambling and you have power, it's called, anyway. But the train riders in America, we should create the Train Riders Union, the TRU, and have everybody sign up, and pay $10 a year, and do some real good
lobbying,
and
have some teeth, and really go after it. I mean, I'm so fed up with the politics in this country, and both sides. I'm not saying that I'm a Democrat. I'm opposed to all the conservative stuff. I'm not saying I'm conservative. I'm opposed to all the. I don't care if it's Republican, it's Democrat. It makes no difference to me. I'd like to blow all of them and just get rid of all of them. But we need to do something to start making this country go positive on a lot of issues, and Amtrak is clearly one of them.
Absolutely. I think that all three of us can agree, certainly the two here in America, is the fact that it used to be that you had political views and you used those a little bit in your philosophy of how the world should go, but you worked together to try and do some good. And it seems that that's gone. I don't know how it is in England. I enjoy watching the House of Parliament, but I don't know if they are effective or not effective.
Yeah, don't even go there. Don't even go there. We had the local elections all over the country, and the Conservatives lost about 500 seats this time, and Labour gained some, and in the Liberal Democrats, and it's a telling sign, because we've got our big general election, I think, next year, I think it is, and things.
What are they saying, Chillie?
It's a dining car announcement, which I have dining car privileges by being business class today. Although I can't get there. It's 2 cars away.
Yeah, I hope they bring you some. Guys, it's been an hour. We've had a great time. I hope we've learned a little bit. Thank you to everybody in the comments section, and especially our good friends that are there week to week for supporting us. It's Mother's Day. Again, we want to underline that, you can be a mother without having had biological children, or you can be a mother to your neighbor or your friend. And we just want to say thank you and appreciate all of the people who act in the role of mother as we celebrate Mother's Day right now. I know there's been many, many influential women in my life, and this is my time to say, blessings to you and thank you for every smile and every kindness that you put upon me. So I'm sure the boys feel that way too. Final thoughts, Chillie, and then Martin and I will say goodbye.
I'm just excited that I had a signal for 4 minutes.
It was 5, Chillie. It was 5.
We'll hear all about it tomorrow. Chillie gets on the boat to Alaska, of course, tomorrow, and we'll be hearing from him regularly every day on his daily show and on the weekend. Martin, last words.
Oh, well, join me this time next week, and I will be in the lovely city of Roma. So, and then getting on that beautiful little ship called the Celebrity Beyond with Captain Kate and her cat, and yeah, I'm.
Now, are you going to have a popsicle while you're in Rome?
A popsicle.
We got to go, guys. It's the hour. Thank you so much, Chillie. Safe travels. Martin, get ready for your big trip to Italy. Get some pasta in you. We'll see you all next week. Happy Mother's Day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.